Well, you get up in the morning the way you always do, right? Maybe you're a little groggy. Maybe you're ready to tackle the world. Maybe you've already smashed that snooze button a couple times. So you finally get yourself out of bed, you take a shower, you get dressed, you make your coffee, you put your breakfast together, you sit down with your breakfast in front of you, you pick up your fork, and now things start to get a little weird. I'm Larry McInnes. This is Mental Fitness Fridays, and you are awesome. Now, I'm going to assume that you're probably not eating breakfast while you're watching this. That's okay. But think this thought experiment along with me. So, your first bite of breakfast is halfway to your mouth. Stop. And instead of mindlessly eating your eggs or bacon or oatmeal while you doom scroll, do this instead. Close your eyes, take that bite, and hold that food in your mouth. Give it a good 30 seconds and see if you can tease apart the individual flavors and textures of your eggs or bacon or oatmeal, and do a slow chew and really get into that mouthful. So focus everything you have on the food that's sitting on your tongue. Sounds a little porny, I know, but that's okay. Go with it. Now, you can take a peek as you reach for your coffee because we don't want you to knock anything over. So go slow. And while you're holding that cup of coffee in your hand, I just want you to know that there's about 1,000 chemical compounds in that coffee. You've got sulfur and rotten cabbage and flowers and spice and fruit and malt and honey and smoke and caramel and dirt. Hold that sip of coffee in your mouth and see if you can identify any of those flavors. All right, so what? Why am I so caught up in breakfast? Well, I've got two reasons. The first is mindfulness training. Somebody figured out that we have 60,000 thoughts a day, and 80% of those thoughts are negative, and 95% of those thoughts are repetitive. So with so many thoughts, we're essentially having this out-of-body experience, and not necessarily in a good way. So focusing your mind on the smokiness of the coffee, the warm gooiness of the egg yolk, the texture of the oatmeal, takes us out of our heads and back into our bodies. And this strengthens the mental muscle just a little bit that shifts us from the part of the brain that sabotages us to the part that allows us a little bit more grace. It weakens the saboteur brain and it strengthens the sage brain. Now, there's a second reason why I'm into this breakfast thing, and here's the second one. We are at the point of the calendar where our New Year's resolutions start to fizzle out, if they haven't already done so. I'm going to give you a pass on all that and let you try again. It could be the same resolution, different one, your choice. But this time, they're not resolutions. This time, they're goals. And here's where things get turned upside down. It's natural to think about how our goals will make our lives better somehow. You know, losing 20 pounds will make you look killer at the beach and you'll feel awesome. Finding a partner for a new relationship will make you feel better about yourself. Making more money will solve all your problems. Somehow we think that our goals are going to change us. So let's turn that around. Instead of thinking that you need your goal to happen in order for you to change, I invite you to see if you can become the version of that version of you right now, even before you have achieved that goal. Now, my goal is to make an extra $100,000 of income this year. There, I said it. What kind of person do I need to become in order to accomplish that? And what kind of person do you need to become in order for you to reach your goal? So how can you become familiar with that version of yourself? So begin by changing the way you eat your breakfast, whatever that looks like to you. Eating breakfast is one of those things that we do on autopilot. We do the same things the same way every day, and we secretly expect new results. So we would like some things to change, but we're not changing anything. And nothing is going to change until you change something. And the easiest thing for you to change is you. So even if you don't see the result that you want to achieve right now, that's fine. You can still embody the version of yourself right now and imagine where you could be in 6 months from now if you would live every day as this new person every single day. What would be different if you would intentionally choose to be that version of you that you desire to be every single day instead of waiting for that desired result to happen? So how can you be that version of yourself today? How would you be showing up in your life? How would you be showing up in your relationships? Would you take action every day? Would you focus rather on would you rather focus on watching Netflix and complain that your goal is too hard to achieve? Or would you take on this new version of yourself and the associated mindset and the actions, and just to be like this person every single day? So if you choose this version of you, think of where you'd be 6 months from now if you could live up like this. What would be different if you would talk to yourself as this new person? How would you eat breakfast? Now, as for the nuts and bolts of this lofty goal of yours, how can you make it more manageable? Well, again, doing the reverse engineering approach, let's look at it this way. You've got a goal for 12 months from now. What needs to happen at the 6-month mark in order for you to reach that 12-month goal? What needs to happen at the 3-month mark in order for the right things to happen at month 6? Bring it backwards, whatever it is. At the 2-month mark, what needs to happen next month? What needs to happen next week? What are the small steps that this new version of you can take today, right now, that will move you forward to your goal? Now, I could have called this episode How to Tie Your Shoes, or How to Walk a Mile, or How You Do Anything is How You Do Everything. Now, for me, I'm going to eat breakfast the way someone who has an extra $100,000 eats his breakfast. Now, let me know how your breakfast thing goes, and I will see you next week at this time on Mental Fitness Fridays.